Tuesdays used to be my least favorite day of the week, and now they're my favorite. Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me, as always. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to stop by and check out my video. Like I said, I used to teach high school, and now I do this full time, which is kind of weird to say, but it's been awesome, and I'm happy that you guys are along this journey with me. So that being said, if you can if you can subscribe, if you can share this with your buddy who you know plays Dinger Tuesday, and say, hey, I found this guy on YouTube, and here's the work he puts into it, and he's done fairly well so far. Knock on wood. So speaking of that, okay, thank you guys for all the generous support. I do want to take a quick look today at the tracking. We now have 4 complete weeks in on these videos, so we'll take a look at the tracking. Then I want to go through sort of, since there's some new people, watching these videos. We've almost eclipsed 200 views. I know, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for my first video, which got like 36. 200 is pretty good. So again, if we can get over 200, that would be awesome today. So what I want to do is kind of go through what I make, what this chart is saying, because I know in the last few videos I've kind of skipped over it. So I want to talk about that. Okay, so go through the tracking, talk about that, and then we'll get into some picks. So let's flip over here to the tracking. Every week, all right, I go through and I mark down how many games I play in each of the rated categories, which we'll talk about in a second. And I write down how many home runs were hit, how many free bets were earned, etc., etc., etc. So if you have the limited version of this promotion, so the $50 cap, okay, my suggestion is always play the A-rated and maybe a B-rated game. And that has proven to be somewhat okay. My A-rated games are churning a $13 on average free bet per game, which is double everything else. So what this basically means is I'm picking the right games to play if you're limited for the A-rated. The A-rated games are the ones that are showing up with the most home runs, so that is great. Now, I've never hit an A-team A-rated player, so if we flip over here, right? So for example, okay, the game in Toronto is an A-rated game. I've never hit a guy I've picked on A-team yet. Okay, it's a long season, so we'll see if we can change that. But for the B-rated team, I have hit 2 or 3. All that to say, if you want to pause the video and you want to take a look at this a little more, I'll zoom it in here for you guys. You can. Ultimately, if you've played every single game all 4 weeks of the A team, so you just go down and you just take the A team 25 all across the board. You don't have the limited version, and you convert your free bets at 75%, which I think is pretty realistic for FanDuel. You'd be up $400. Okay, if you take only the B team, same thing. You'd be up $700. So the B team is performing better than the A team. What's the difference? The A team is my first choice. Okay, and sometimes with B, I'll go more with value. It's a guy that I like, but maybe a bit of a reach. So the value is actually performing slightly better, but again, really small sample size, so we'll see how that continues. So if we flip on over here to the actual chart, what I do every week is I put the teams that are playing. Bottom team is the home team. I put who is projected to pitch, although that can change. I put their innings pitched this season and how many home runs they've given up this season. What these next 2 columns do is run a calculation that tells you how many home runs per inning they are projected to give up. And it's color-coded. So if it's yellow, they're about at the league average. If it's red, they're below the league average. And if it's green, they're above the league average. So you want to look for the green or the yellow. Then I have this last column here, which will tell you how many home runs they're projected to give up in 5 innings. So if most pitchers usually go for about 5 innings, this is how many you can expect to see from that pitcher. Now, there's still 4 more innings left to be played in the game, which means we could get more home runs, but it just gives you an idea of what you can expect from the guy who's on the mound. Then in this column, I have the Ballpark Pal home run percentage. So Ballpark Pal is a website that does all kinds of MLB analysis. It's completely free, which I'm gonna say it is unbelievable. I mean, this guy's awesome. He puts out stuff all the time. He puts so much effort into this to not charge a penny, which is something that if you are not utilizing, you know, a bit foolish perhaps. So I would recommend checking him out. So what I've been doing, and I'm going to say this, I've been going over here and looking at these numbers. So these home run percentage numbers are what I plug into my chart here. And so what this is it is a model trained on historical batted ball data, which accounts for park and weather. Now he has applied individual batting profiles to this to get a better overall analysis. But every park is built different. It's not like football where it's 100 yards, 53 and a half or whatever it is across. It is different lengths, different wall sizes. All right, so parks matter. Some are inside, some are outside, where wind can affect you. So all that plays into these calculations. However, what I will say is he has added something which is called the home run zone. This is new this week. I, and this is what I need for this video and have not had. So I'm going to use this next week. I'm going to figure out how to incorporate it into my sheet. But essentially what he's doing is he's projecting 33 home runs tonight across all, the board. So if you do that, $5 a home run, he's projecting 170 home runs across the board tonight. So $170 in home runs across the board tonight. So we'll see how close he gets. Awesome tool. And it shows you which park is most likely to get the home run. So Fenway, we'll talk about the Green Monster when we make those picks, should be the least amount of home runs according to his model, and Houston should be the best. So I'll use this next week, and we can talk about this next week a little more. For now, I didn't have the time this morning to get into this, but I think this is going to change the game a little bit for what we like to do on this channel. So awesome job by Ballpark Pal in integrating this. Just because my curiosity is too strong. Wow, I think this is new today. I think this is literally new today. Because normally you go up here and you go back a day, it'll show the numbers and it switches over to starting pitchers, which means I don't think there's data for that. So I was going to check and see how close he was yesterday with the totals. But still, awesome new tool. Okay. So as a brief overview for today, today was tough for me because the parks that are friendly have better pitching and vice versa. If we look at last week, we had a ton of red and yellow for pitching until the later games here. And again, that doesn't always matter, perhaps. It's just numbers, not necessarily how they're going to perform, but a lot less red today across the board. So I do think that bodes well for us. It is about finding the spots, though, so that's what I've tried to do. So the game in Toronto, I have given an A. It is one I will probably get to for the limited version. The game in Houston, I've given an A. It will be a game I get to in the limited version. The game in Chicago, the White Sox game in Chicago, not the Cubs game, I've given an A. It'll be one I get to. And some honorable mentions of the Dodgers and Seattle games. Both look pretty good from a home run standpoint. May get to these if these games kind of go south at the beginning. Okay, let's get into the picks, shall we? So the first game we have Perez, who has not really pitched a lot this year, going to Detroit, and it looks like a pretty decent game. If you have the unlimited version, it'd be a game I would play. And I'm going to go with Nate Lowe for Texas, and I'm going to go for Robbie Grossman. The Robbie Grossman revenge game, perhaps at plus 900. Are you kidding me? Grossman goes back to Detroit, where he played a few seasons, and I was tempted to switch him around, but I had to trust my gut here. But I do think Grossman at 900 is a crazy value play for a guy who's used to the park, who's going up against mediocre pitching. I may have talked myself into switching it to mentally, but there it is. Okay, those are the first two plays of the night. All right, we got some decent pitching here in Miami. Ryan Weathers and Sandy Alcantara, although Alcantara has not been what he used to be in terms of last few years, and for that reason, I will go with two San Diego guys. Carpenter is a guy who just is a bomber, right? He is out there more often than not to just swing it. And for a guy at 680 who just swings it, situationally, he's obviously going to hit what he needs to hit to try to score runs, but he has the power to go long, and at 680, tremendous value there. So I like Matt Carpenter and Jake Cronenworth at 750. I don't mind Grisham. Odor has just started playing for the Padres, came over from Baltimore. I don't know if he's been hurt or what, but he's hit a few since he's been back. I don't mind him, but these are my two official plays, but I think there's some good guys you could get to tonight for that matchup. This game is not looking good in terms of pitching or in terms of um, the weather in Baltimore. Although Baltimore doesn't usually have kind of a reputation for being not hitter friendly like some of these other parks. So I kind of find that interesting. I may have overrated it or underrated it with a D. It could be a C. I think we could probably get 3 home runs out of this game. So maybe a C is a better rating, but we're going to keep it for now. Cedric Mullins will probably lead off for the Orioles, and he's not listed on FanDuel at the moment. And if we flip over here and check, go Heat, I guess. Good grief, what a game last night, right? Yeah, Cedric Mullins is still not listed, which I find a little bit bizarre. So definitely keep your eye on that. If he is 500 or above, I would play him. If he's below 500, I would not. So that's what the parentheses means here. It's just kind of that's your target number. And Josh Naylor at 560, another guy kind of like Carpenter who's there to just bomb it. And I do think there's value on 560. However, it could be the fact that FanDuel is accounting for the park, realizing that it is not friendly tonight and giving him a little added bonus. So, not a game I will probably play, but for the record, we're there. We'll take this moment to shout out to DraftKings for their Yeti. This is a FanDuel promotion, but this episode is sponsored by It's not. It's not at all sponsored by DraftKings, but maybe someday, right? It's a good cup. They mailed it to me for free. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but here we are. Okay, this game I went back and forth on, and I've rated it an A. And Hauser looks good, but he's only pitched 20 innings. And Kikuchi, holy smokes, right? 14 home runs given up across 51 innings. That's a ton of hard hit balls. So I think there's options here, and the options do lead me to go to the Brewers. And Brian Anderson, I didn't love that this was his number. Okay, if we flip back to the week we hit him, 750, now he's at 480. So that doesn't sit quite well, but I would be sick if he hit one and we didn't have him. Owen Miller at 600, though, I think is a good number and a good play. Gosh, I'm thinking these B teams are better today. Maybe this is why the B team is performing better, because I put the better guys there. I don't know. But these will be the two guys that I play in this game. And it will probably be a game I do play on the limited version. Okay. This game is poor in terms of projected home run. If we look at the park factors here for Boston, we got to scroll the way down to... They're not in order. Okay, right here, right? Minus 38%. Problem is this wind is just blowing straight at the Green Mile, which if you don't know, the Green Mile, what am I talking about? The Green Monster. The green means go monster, right? This is the Green Monster. So the wind is blowing at that. This is an insanely high wall. It's hard to hit home runs over that. That's why you get the number that you do, I think, for projections. Ben Lively's not pitched a lot, but he's looked decent. Brian Bayo has been solid. So I'm going to go with one of each team. Alex Verdugo for Boston and TJ Friedel at 900 for the Reds. Fraley's going to hit one tonight, and I'm going to kick myself because I've been riding Fraley all freaking season. But I'm not going to tonight, so maybe we can just get it out of the way. He can hit one. We can put it in the past. But absolutely not a game I'm touching for the $50 limited version. If you play them all, why not, right? I mean, anything can happen, but I don't see over 2 home runs hit in this game. This game I may have, again, too harshly rated. Suarez and Singa. Singa was projected to go last Tuesday, I think. If we'll go over here and check. Yeah, and then he got scratched which was good because Mervis for the Cubs ended up hitting one against whoever they put in. Can't even remember. So hopefully he ends up playing tonight. Guys, uh, you know, I'm not planning to play this game, but mother of all sin, Brandon Marsh at 1060? Are you kidding me? I mean, we can go look, and I know the dude is not a slugger by any stretch of the imagination, but for 5 home runs hit this year, I think he hit one the 28th, so 2 days ago he was in the lineup and he hit one. I mean, obviously he's not hitting a ton. It's the only one he's hit in the last 3 weeks. But for a lefty facing Singa and a righty, golly heck, mother of pearl, right? That's a number. That's a number. Okay. If you play that and hit that, after free bet conversions, you're good. You're profiting this week, so that's hard to ignore. Sterling Marte is also a fantastic number for um, for the Mets, and maybe he's had an off year in terms of home runs. Two, he has. Okay, plain and simple, he has. Right? I mean, he's not really known as a home. He's kind of old, 10 years, 11 years in the league. Um, he hit quite a bit more last year. You know, if you look at his games, if we call 50 half of 118, which is not quite, but it's close, you could project him around 8 right now. If he's following last year's performance, he's only got 2, so he is underperforming this year, and maybe that's why you see that value, that number there. So we're gonna go with it. Maybe he can pull 3 out. This is a game that's pretty solid. I probably won't play it, but if you have the unlimited version, this is a game that I think would be worth your money. Greinke and McCullough's not the best. St. Louis, decent hitting park, kind of a neutral feel tonight. So Vinny Pasquantino at 600 for the Royals and Tommy Edman plus 800. Hopefully he leads off for the Cardinals. A lot of guys I like in this, so that is why I do think you could get 3 home runs minimum, get your money's worth out of this. So definitely a game that would be something to consider. Next game is a bit bizarre because it's in Chicago and FanDuel's not even listing lines yet, presumably because the weather is still a mystery. When that wind is blowing in the batters' faces, yeah, nothing, okay? That's a serious disadvantage in Chicago. Although it is a hitter's park, that the wind can dictate not just home runs. I mean, I'm talking totals. What's the total tonight? I'm gonna guess 7.5. Okay, it's 7.5. And if the wind was facing the other way, it would be 9.5. That's a 2-run difference, just because of Mother Nature's, right? So, if I do play this game, which I will not, but if I did, it would be Brandon Lowe and Wander Franco. I don't know their odds. I'm going to say Lowe, you're going to want to see 460 on that number, and you're going to see Franco at 600. Again, I don't know what they're going to spit out with the weather, but that's what I would say. Kyle Hendricks' number here, fascinating stuff. Kyle Hendricks has only played for the Cubs in his career, and he's been there like 12 years, which is rare. Okay, these are last year's numbers. He's only pitched like 1 game this year, so not accurate. I try to give you a bigger sample size, so that's what we're dealing with, which is why I went with 2 Rays, but again, staying away from that game if I had my choice. Okay, flipping over here, and I know we're going a little long today, 18 minutes already. I'll try to speed things up. We did a little more review than usual. This is a game that I will be playing with the limited version, and I will be targeting 2 Minnesota guys, which normally I love Houston guys in the home run picks, but I do think Joe Ryan's pitched fine enough to fade, and Brian Belak, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, has pitched a small sample size, but a lot of home runs, which he may get it together tonight. But Minnesota looked good last night in Houston. Did they play Houston? I think so. They looked good last night in terms of home runs. I think they hit 3 or 4. So let's hope the bats are hot. Max Kepler at 420 is good. Julian at 750 is great. Why don't I switch them? I don't know. Maybe play the B team today. I don't know what I'm doing here. I keep looking at these B teams saying that's the play, even though I put A team. So, we'll see what happens. Both of these guys play for Minnesota. I think have a good shot tonight to hit the home run. If we go over here and look, Joey Gallo obviously is a fine play. I just don't like his number tonight. It's 360 right now, but I do think that that trends down to 315 by the time the game starts. 320, it's already trending down. So Kepler and Julian would be who I would play. I'm gonna kick myself when Tucker hits one tonight. When he's usually my Tucker Tuesday play, but stop looking at it, just move on, right? Anderson versus Giolito. Again, Giolito, a name that probably a lot of people know, but has not been playing great. A game that the park is favoring home runs, and a game where I'm going to take two Angels. I looked at Otani again. I know we played him last week at a great number, 450. He's only 360 today, I believe. Um, Actually, it may be worse because I think I would have played him at 360. 300. Okay. Trout's at 300. Um, so I do think you can't go wrong in this game. I think we can get 4 home runs out of it. Walsh at 480 and Moniak. Moniak's been kind of going bonkers. Hitting some. Let's just see in the last 3 weeks how many home runs he's hit. Oh, he's only hit 4 on the year. Um, where did I find that? 4 on the year, but in the last 3 weeks, it's always been hitting. So, last 2 weeks he's hit 3 of his 4. So his bat's hot. 560 is a great number. He's got a great matchup at a great park. Period. Okay. 2 A's here. The Alcoholics Anonymous game tonight. Um, JP Sears is obviously the player to target. The park's not fantastic, so I'm probably not going to play it. But two Atlanta guys I like tonight would be Austin Riley and Travis DeArnaud. Arnaud's number at 400 is actually probably bad. I probably should not be playing it at that. I don't think there's value there. It's probably, it's probably a loss of value, given what he has done, which has been 1 home run. Are you kidding me? How many games has he played in? Okay, he's only played in 16, so he's been hurt. So, whatever. Um, I don't love the number, but again, it's the guy I think will hit one tonight, and I would be upset if I didn't say him and he hit one. So that's what we're going with. Again, probably not one I'm touching with the limited version, but if you have the unlimited, it'd be worth, getting your 3 home run value out of it. Gallen has been probably one of the best pitchers this year. I'm not going to touch any Rockies player. And Freeland has not been fantastic, although he's not giving up. His ERA is high, but he's not giving up a ton of home runs. But we are going to go 2 Diamondbacks here. Evan Longoria and Lourdes Gurriel at 680 is a good value play. He's hit 8, I think, on the year, and a good matchup at home, in a park that's fine. These freaking B games, guys. What am I on? I say the A player, and then I go to the B, and I just start drooling. What is this? It's play the B tonight, guys. Don't even think about it. Just play the B team. Yeah. Okay. Last night we had quite a few home runs in the Seattle and Yankees game. Tonight, Cortez, another household name that's not been pitching fantastic, giving up 10 home runs across 50 innings, so about 20% of his innings he's giving up a home run. Park's fine tonight. Julio Rodriguez at 400 and Eugenio Suarez at 430, I think, are good. This is one of those games where it's kind of like the Minnesota-Toronto game where I like a lot of guys. Rizzo's fine. Pollock would be okay. Ty France, Willie Calhoun. Oh, probably a game I do play, even with the limited version, just because there's a lot of guys that I think could do what they need to do tonight. But these are my official plays. I think we get 5 out of that game, full value. So definitely target this game. Even if you're new to this is a game I'd be on. The complete opposite of that would be the game in San Francisco. And again, we're talking conditions so bad and pitching so decent that they don't even have numbers up. Mike Yastrzemski and Lamonte Wade Jr. would be my plays. Again, no numbers right now at this time of the morning. This is always my biggest challenge, is finding the game I'm looking for. Oh, they don't even have the lines. That's what it is. They don't even have the bloody lines up for the game. They don't even have a money line. Maybe the pitching is undecided. That could be what it is. I've gone at the projected pitcher. It may not be official yet, so that's probably why. Doesn't matter. Don't touch this game anyway. Last game of the night, Tony Gonsolin and Irvin. I don't actually know his first name. Jake Irvin. We're going to target Jake Irvin tonight. We're going to go with 2 Dodgers. James Outman at 470. Kind of been quiet lately. Hasn't played in a few games, I don't believe. And Muncy's probably taken all of his shine. Max Muncy is just... What's Max Muncy's number tonight? Because heavens to Betsy, this guy is just smashing. Dodgers. This is horrible, guys. Why do I... I'm not doing this to myself. I can't ever find it there. I have to look for the logos. Okay. 320. Outman's 470 and Peralta's 630 again. I think haven't bet it yet. Okay. Some of these are changing. That's the other thing. Okay, these are the plays. Now, some of these are changing. You can't predict which way they're going to go. Last week I think I had TJ Friedel at like 400, and then he ended up being 470 later in the day. But Otani went off at like 320, and we got him at 450. So I can't predict the line movement on these suckers. But I will say, if you want to be extra safe, wait for the lineups to release. Make sure they're in the lineup. I had a friend who played a guy who pinch hit, and so he ended up losing $25 there and only got 1 at bat for it. So I would check the lineup. I don't often do that because I'm pretty confident in most of the guys I'm playing that they'll start. And if I'm not, I'll eat the loss. I like to lock in a number that I like. So I probably, maybe do myself a disservice sometimes by doing that. It hasn't hurt me yet, but I would be careful betting them too early and missing, if they miss out on the lineup, you're kind of in a tough spot. Okay, here's the overview. If you want to take a little screenshot of it, I am probably going to play the Toronto game, the Houston game, the Chicago White Sox game, and the Yankees game. And if one of those games is a complete failure, maybe I get to the Dodgers game at night. Although I don't mind Detroit. And there's some good spots tonight, guys. If you have the unlimited version, it could be your night. It could be a good night for you. So, as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hopefully, you're able to use this information to make some money. And again, it's a long season. This promotion has a value over the long term. So that's what it's all about. It's about taking the swings, as tough as it is, and trying to come out ahead in the long run, which so far we are proving is possible. So thank you guys for stopping by. Again, if you can share this video with a buddy or two, helps me a ton. Have a great Tuesday, and we will talk to you next week. I do have a Twitter, Green Means Go. What's my Twitter? It's called Green Means Go Betting. I don't know what the actual handle is. Green means go betting. Okay. So if there's any lineup changes, if a guy's not in the lineup, I will post on here my changes just so it's official for tracking purposes. TikTok, I may update some things there too. So that's where you can find me after these videos are published. I've gone on too long, so I will see you next week. And I wish you the best, and we'll talk to you later.